Welcome. This is 5Round MMA, the only sports combat podcast that operates on 30% because you can't handle us at 50. Don't even want to see us at 100. My name is Alex Ramirez. Alongside me is my co-host Albert Cita, and on the phone from the happiest place on earth is Guillermo Cita. Gentlemen, how's it going?
Good, man. And I bet you were thinking about saying that the whole entire day. You've written it down and everything.
30%. You don't want to see us. Don't want to see us at 50%.
That's a fact. That's a fact right there.
Carl Usman operating at 30%. Because he said he wasn't healthy, not because he didn't want to turn it on. But today's show, we got a lot to talk about. The UFC Fight Night in St. Louis recap. Talk about Robert Whittaker's injury, forcing him out of the UFC 221 main event. Is the UFC catering too much to Khabib Nurmagomedov? And also, I'm going to ask you guys, would you want to watch UFC 220 or Bellator 192? So, gentlemen, before we start, let's get to your thoughts and reactions to the NFL playoffs.
To tell you the truth, it's one of those years that anything can happen. I mean, the fact that the Eagles are still in it without their main dude, the Vikings pretty much got a give me win.
They call it the Miracle Minnesota.
Yeah, because the same guy freaking, I don't know what he forgot how to tackle 101. It's just crazy. And then you got the freaking Patriots still in it. So
they're always in it. Guillermo, what's your assessment?
What to me is that how good the games are. Normally.
That's true.
I mean, besides the Patriots and Titans, that game was kind of boring. The other three games were actually pretty good and exciting all the way to the end. So I think that's the best thing about it. I mean, my team's out of it. I'm a Jimmy G fan and my 49ers. So
I think I'm gonna have to go Jaguars all the way.
Yeah, all the way.
Yeah, me too. I'm here in Orlando, so the Jaggies, man, the Jaguars are putting it all together, man.
We'll see, Jaggies.
Wow,
I gotta get that lingo already going, huh? The Jacksonville Jaggies. So let's get this switch over to mixed martial arts. Albert, get that timer ready for me for round number 1. Ready? UFC St. Louis took place on the Saturday because we had the extra long weekend, which is why this episode is dropping on a Tuesday. Main event, Jeremy Stephens defeated Dooho Choi, TKO in the second round, I believe, right? I don't even remember. Second round, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, TKO, punches and elbows. After the fight, Jeremy Stephens called out Max Holloway, and he kind of said, I just want everybody who's in front of me right now. Right now, he is ranked number 9, but unfortunately,
so there's a lot of people in front of him.
Unfortunately, he's kind of fought everybody in front of him already. The likes of Frankie Edgar, Max Holloway,
that guy,
Cub Swanson. So I don't know who he's kind of calling out here, but every time Jeremy Stephens, goes after these big guns, the big fish, he kind of comes up short here. So my assessment is that Jeremy Stephens is kind of like maybe like the Diego Sanchez of the division, like a guy who, almost like he's that gatekeeper where, he'll turn on entertaining fights if he's always really good at, corralling people to fight his style. That's what happened yesterday with Dooho Choi. He kind of got into his game plan, but yet when he fights, the cream of the crop divisions, he can't turn on that next level anyway. So that's my assessment on Jeremy Stephens. What do you think?
I'm a big believer that give people what they want so they can get put in their place. I'm a huge believer that if you think you're number 1 or if you think you're a tough shot, then go in there and see if you're a tough shot. So I'm all for giving Jeremy Stephens what he wants. Give him Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Well, he called off Brian Ortega first.
No. I'm going straight to Khabib, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not even.
Like Khabib.
We're right division, bro. We're in the featherweight division.
Yeah, featherweight division. And for some reason, I keep thinking he's still at 155.
He's at 145. Just to say all the names. Max Holloway.
Give him Brian Ortega then.
Let me correct you, Albert. So first of all, I agree that let's give Jeremy Stephens what he wants. So the winner out of Max Holloway versus Frankie Edgar gets Jeremy Stephens.
It's a title shot. You good with that?
I'm good with that.
Brian Ortega is perfect for him, I think.
No, I'll tell you why. Is one the ranking system is irrelevant at this point. I mean, it's pointless. They give people that are not even the number 1 contender or ranked number 1, 2, or 3. We see people 8, 9 getting title shots, so that's irrelevant. Second of all, I've told you guys for the longest, Brian Ortega is not a household name. Jeremy Stephens is. Whether you guys would like to admit it or not.
I'm not gonna admit it. Not today.
Whether you guys like to admit it or not,
I thought he was a 155er. That shows you everything.
Jeremy Stephens is, and Max Holloway at this point, he only has Brian Ortega left and Jeremy Stephens. Everybody else, he's pretty much already gone through. So why not give him Jeremy Stephens? It's a more marketable fight anyway.
Well, I'm thinking here. Jeremy Stevens says, "Give me everybody right who's ahead of him." Currently ranked at number 8 is El Pantera, Yair Rodriguez. Doesn't that have Fight Night in Mexico written all over it, Guillermo?
It does. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like that matchup, it excites me. Even Brian Ortega versus Jeremy Stevens, it excites me a little bit.
What about Ricardo Lamas? Does that excite you?
Yes.
No, but Ricardo Lamas just got knocked out.
That's why he needs a quick win with someone that's
ranked.
That he can take.
Unquote,
that he can take those numbers away.
The thing is, at least Brian Ortega's coming off a win, and legitimately is probably like the number 1 contender outside of Frankie Edgar. But Jeremy Stevens is the more marketable name. He's coming off a win. I mean, why not? While the stove is hot or the iron's hot, it's like just give him an opportunity. I mean, I don't think he was injured after the fight. I mean, I'll see the medical suspensions after. But Max Holloway versus Frankie Edgar is coming up really, really, really quick, so it would line up perfectly.
So let's switch over now to the welterweight division. Carl Usman operates at 30%. Takes care of the Viking Meek via unanimous decision here, and he called out pretty much everybody. Why does nobody want to fight Carl Usman? Is that style just too? That style is just too. Like I said,
it's boring.
Paul Felder said it's too boring, but nobody wants to fight him. So
honestly, imagine Tyrone Woodley versus Usman, and then you're marketing me. I'm not talking about the vicious Usman that you see the knockout. I'm talking about the Usman that we saw last night. It's a snore fest. I don't want to see two guys trying to grapple all the time and then just lay. Not even grapple. I don't even call that grappling. It's called laying, and that's it. Period. Just lay there.
I mean,
be the heavier guy.
If we couldn't have another reincarnation of John Fitch, we just got it. Alex, you sound very impressed by this guy, but Albert's right. I mean, even you saw Meek's reaction after the fight. It's like, was it really a fight? Because to me, the guy on the bottom did all the work. Yes, he got dominated. He got physically dominated by Usman. But, I mean, dear God, I mean, how can we last 5 rounds of 25 minutes of this and be satisfied with paying a pay-per-view fight to see this? I mean, come on, guys.
That was also Usman's 5th unanimous decision victory in the UFC. So that's his style, people, where they get used to it, I guess.
If John Fitch didn't get a title fight, come on.
Yeah, and also, real quick, last night we saw Paige Van Sant return, but suffered a broken arm. She's going for a spinning back fist and cracked her forearm on the side of Jessica Rose Clark's skull. Is this a major setback for her, or is she still up there? You think in this brand new division when she comes back, still a contender, Albert?
I think so. I think people will be very forgiving once they find out that she did break her arm in the first round
and finish the fight.
And she finished the fight. I mean, she's always been known for her toughness. I think that's her best quality.
Yeah.
And so I think people are going to be very forgiving.
Yeah. If anything, I think yesterday didn't really do too much favors for Jessica Rose Clark in the perception of the eyes, because the story was Paige Van Sant broke her arm, still finished the fight. So at the end of the day, she's still the bigger star, even when she's not fighting. So that's it for round number 2.
Wait.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Say, Dana White was already posting, "Oh man, she's so tough." Blah 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 about Paige Van Zandt.
Yeah.
So yes, people are going to be forgiving. Albert's already forgiving. Dana White already forgave. Me, I do not forgive. She does not belong as a.
She had her arm broken. Did you see?
It doesn't matter.
It's because when you're breaking your forearm like that. I broke in my forearm just like that. I know what she's going through.
Spinning back fist on somebody's
I didn't spin back fist. I just fell on my arm. But
you just fell.
I know the pain.
Same thing.
I know the pain.
And you finished the fight?
No, I didn't finish. I didn't finish that basketball game.
Well, what about Anderson Silva when he destroyed his shin against Chris Weidman?
Did he finish the fight? And did he finish the fight?
I'm sure he would have if the doctors let him.
Exactly.
That's it for round number 2. We're going to come back and talk about Robert Whittaker beating out the UFC 221 main event. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back. Time for round number 2. News broke last week that Robert Whittaker is out at the UFC 221 main event. I want to get to that against Luke Rockhold. Whittaker did a post saying that he was just deemed medically unfit to compete. I know he was coming off some sort of surgery. I think it was his shoulder surgery he had, or I forgot what kind of surgery he had, but maybe that's
bouncing back.
The timing from that is, but it's horrible timing because this was in Australia, right in his backyard. The UFC wants to build him as a star. But what I ask you guys here is this kind of the first big hit to his credibility as being able to make these big time fights? Because it seems like once you're it's like two things. Once you're labeled injury prone, the fans don't trust you anymore. And once you're judged, oh, that guy doesn't make weight, the fans don't trust you. Those are like the two like the scarlet letter A's. Injury prone and like you can't make weight. Like once that, people do not trust you at all. Look at Khabib. Khabib is still fighting to get that credibility back. Is this kind of a one-time thing? Should we forgive Robert Whittaker, or is this kind of like the start of a trend here, kind of like Cain Velasquez, where he cannot stay healthy?
The previous round you forgave Paige Van Zandt, and now you don't forgive a guy that literally tore his ACL in the middle of a title fight and finished it and won. There you guys go. A good example of someone finishing and winning with the injury.
I cannot forgive him. Because this destroys the whole. This
destroys
the whole pay-per-view. Come on, let's give it real.
Here you are giving an excuse to Paige Van Zandt, but you can't give the excuse.
Albert. Albert.
It's not an excuse. It's fact. She broke her arm in the first round and then finished.
It's fact that this guy tore his ACL and messed up his shoulder, and yet it's fact, and yet you're discrediting it.
Yeah, but when was the last time we saw Robert Whittaker in the octagon?
So it's okay to get hurt in the middle of the fight, but then when you try to fix it in the off season or when you during the training camp, it's not okay.
You're missing the point of the question was, should we be concerned, Guillermo? And the question is yes.
We shouldn't be concerned. This guy has been active. This guy went and nobody wanted to face this guy because he was beating everybody left and right.
Cain Velasquez has left the worst taste in my mouth.
And then right after Jacare, he had Yoel Romero. Who in the world goes through those two guys and be successful about it? So, I mean, like, give the guy a break. Did you just forget the 2017 that this guy had?
Yes, I did.
I mean, if anything, the person you got to blame is GSP for ruining everything.
I still think Michael Bisping. Go ahead, Albert.
I'm just trying to say, look, I'm still a huge Cain Velasquez fan. You can't take away what he has done, but it does.
Great example.
It does leave me that concerned. I mean, I just can't do it.
Lauren Guillermo.
No, I'm not muting him. He's muting himself.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not the trend of something else. Because hopefully, he's still a young guy. I just hate to be like labeled that person who always gets hurt during these big time matches. But are you guys both okay with the Yoel Romero getting a shot against Luke Rockhold?
I told you guys, if anything were to happen or the next person in line was Yoel Romero, I told you guys, Yoel Romero, whether you guys like it or not, literally, they could have gone either way against Robert Whittaker. I still gave the edge to Robert Whittaker, but it was not a really bad loss against Robert Whittaker. I mean, to me, he's still the number one contender, even if he came off a loss. And the fact that everybody, like Kevin Gastelum, got offered from, the rumors, and he turned down that fight, it just shows you that this guy's a scary dude. He deserves a title shot.
Yeah, but he just got vicious. I thought he got overwhelmingly defeated. So I don't.
Oh my god!
It was a unanimous decision loss.
Yeah, and I wouldn't because the way I picture it. Let's say for some crazy reason Yoel Romero beats Luke Rockhold. I don't even want to see Yoel Romero go up against Robert Whittaker again.
Is that your issue? Biggest issue?
It's
the potential for rematch.
I'd rather not see that. I'd rather see two guys that I want to see compete against Robert Whittaker.
So if not Yoel Romero, who was your choice?
But then
go get him.
I was going to say the other thing, though, is Yoel Romero beat everybody. Before Robert Whittaker, nobody had beaten Yoel Romero.
True. Albert, who was your, if not Yoel Romero?
I still think Kevin Gastelum should have got the shot just because he's a lot more fresher in their minds. And he beat the ex-champion.
He lost Weidman.
Yeah, but he beat Michael Bisping, who was the champion.
Bro? Come on.
It's almost like, okay, so let's say if you go to Kevin Gastelum, but then he lost to Chris Weidman. Let's go to Chris Weidman, but he lost to Luke Rockhold. Yeah, so it's like, and then
Romero's the only one.
And then
see, that's why you can't put Chris Weidman because Luke Rockhold beat him. Yoel Romero beat him.
You know who we blame for all this? Michael Bisping. No, because Michael Bisping was such a coward. He decided to duck all these guys, so they had no other choice but to fight and beat up each other. Now we're stuck here with nobody here, and now we have the potential.
If GSP doesn't go after Michael Bisping be fighting Robert Whittaker right now as we speak.
No, well, I doubt that.
And we still have all these juicy matchups.
I bet you, if anything, if Michael Bisping would have beat GSP, we'd probably talk about
if anything, the person that deserves a title shot is David Branch. Come on, guys.
It's a fresh matchup, guys. We got to go for it.
I still say Kevin Gastelum.
That's it for round number 2. We're going to come back and talk about the UFC all of a sudden being he was number 1 fan, Dana White, and the UFC catering to this guy who's always missing fights. But we're going to come back and talk about that and the potential for a UFC in Russia. event in 2018, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to 5 Round MMA, round number 3. We should never leave the camera running in between rounds.
That's why I make it a habit to turn off the camera in between rounds.
Khabib Nurmagomedov, he defeated Edson Barboza UFC 220, and now all of a sudden he is the greatest thing since sliced bread. The UFC announced, or rumors are very strong, that they're going to make their debut in Russia sometime in December. UFC 219, he defeated Edson Barboza. Now he's the number 1 contender behind. He's either going to fight. Depends on what Conor McGregor does. He's going to fight Tony Ferguson for the interim title, or go ahead and just fight Conor McGregor for the title, whatever Dana White wants him to do. Looks like now that Conor McGregor might.
It's going to be Conor McGregor.
Might be stripped if he doesn't fight by September. So he says he wants to fight in March because he celebrates, I think, Ramadan. And he was going to take a break and come back sometime in December or September, November, December. And it looks like the UFC is going to cater to that and have him when he comes back in Russia. I'm asking you, why all of a sudden now, as the UFC, super catering to Khabib, a guy who could never stay healthy, a guy who Dana White openly criticizes his camp, aka for keeping their fighters, for working their fighters too hard and keep getting everybody hurt. So I mean, why not all the love for Khabib? I ask you guys.
It's pretty simple.
Why?
Conor McGregor needs to make max money, and and El Cucuy, I love the style, love the man, but he is not going to give the max money in this event with Conor McGregor. The person who's going to give him the max money, it's Khabib. And not only is Khabib's going to give him the max money, the fact that it's going to be in Russia, those Russians are going to, destroy the gate total of how much they're going to charge or whatever. It can be as big as a boxing event, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's what it is, that Dana White just wants to guarantee Conor McGregor that he can make that good money in the UFC. And what a way to start off his post boxing career than to get this max paycheck against Khabib in Russia.
So Guillermo, Khabib said, I found it here too. He said he wants to fight at least one time before May, because Ramadan starts May 15th, and then again in September, and again in December. I mean, what in this guy's history makes us think that he even thinks that he could pull this off, fighting 3 times in 2018? And do you kind of agree with Albert's theory there that they're basically kind of catering him because they want, basically it's all about Conor McGregor again to get that big payday in Russia?
You guys couldn't be 100% incorrect about this.
Okay.
Second of all, did you guys not see his performance against Edson Barboza?
Hey, man.
I mean, seriously. I mean, the work inside the ring speaks for itself. Forget that he can't make weight or didn't make weight against. Forget about the injury.
Forgotten.
I mean, look at his last statement inside the octagon. That alone should excite everybody. I mean, it was one man demolishing the other. I mean, and this is an elite contender in that weight class. That's one. Second of all, have you guys? I mean, you can't discriminate your employees of religion.
I'm not saying that.
That's the thing. I mean, he's saying that due to religion, he can't fight during a certain time period. So Dana White is not really catering to him. It's legitimate truth that he can't train because of some of the religious beliefs that he can't eat during a certain time, and the weight cut's probably an issue, and training because he's probably not getting nutrients and stuff like that. It's legitimate. I mean, I'm not saying that he's using that as an excuse to run the UFC or anything like that, but I mean, it's legitimate. Me and Albert worked with somebody, that celebrated Ramadan, and we saw it, and he told us all the time that it's tough to do things during that time.
He even went to work during that.
But I'm saying, okay, so shouldn't the champion be dictating the schedule?
Okay,
and it doesn't seem that way to me. It seems like, okay, it seems like everybody's Tony Ferguson is the real champ right here, not Conor McGregor. Yet nobody's asking him when he wants to fight or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, why all of a sudden now are we trying to squeeze every last drop out of Khabib, a guy who doesn't make fights?
The rumors that Conor McGregor is going to get stripped. Right now they're setting up Conor McGregor versus. Not Conor McGregor. Khabib versus Tony Ferguson all over again. That's the rumor that they're going to strip Conor McGregor. And if you guys follow Conor McGregor on Instagram, all he does is post pictures of him against Mayweather. Dude, you lost to Mayweather.
He's training for that. It's clearly he does train, Mayweather pose, train, Gucci, train, Mayweather pose.
That's like
algorithm. So he wants Mayweather again, obviously. And I think that's what he's really trying to egg on. I mean, like, never does he reference ever Khabib. Does he reference the UFC? Does he reference Tony Ferguson?
Because the king
Like,
doesn't
it's irrelevant to him.
acknowledge
Yeah.
the others. That's why, Guillermo.
I just kind of hope the UFC is not going to do all this, and then all of a sudden, come September or whenever they're in Russia, Khabib can't make weight or is hurt.
Well, you run that risk with anybody.
True, but it's just so specific because, like, yeah, they could have a show in Brazil, but they have a ton of Brazilian fighters to choose from. They could go to Canada, well, not anymore because GSP's gone, but you know what I mean. They can go when they go to Australia. It's either it's Robert Whittaker or it's Mark Hunt, and now Robert Whittaker's hurt, but I mean it's just kind of so specific that they're hoping. It's like, to me, I don't want to bet on Khabib, and I don't know why they put all the eggs in this basket, but hopefully. I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's just my thing. Like, I
just hope they make it a stacked card.
Yeah, it has to be a stacked card because you can't count.
Put another lightweight in there that's high profile.
Yeah. And then you know what I don't get from you guys is hear you guys proclaiming Cain Velasquez fighting a man bear pig, and you have Khabib that's actually fighting a real bear. Come on, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, he fought the bear, but Brock Lesnar fought the family bear.
I mean, Guillermo, you forget to realize what Brock Lesnar's done in 2017 in WWE as Universal Champion. He's just destroyed everybody. He's destroyed Braun Strowman. He's destroyed Roman Reigns, AJ Styles.
He beat his biggest opponent, which was Samoa Joe and Goldberg.
Come on, man. I mean, you can't unprecedented in the UFC and WWE alone. So that's it for round number 3. We're going to take a small break and come back and answer the championship rounds. I want to ask you guys and ask the audience out there, what are you watching Saturday night? Bellator 192 or UFC 220? Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Let's enter the championship round. So Saturday, January 20th, this upcoming Saturday, is a pretty big night for mixed martial arts fans. They got Bellator 192 taking place on Spike TV, live from the Forum. Main event between Douglas Lima and Rory McDonald. It's a welterweight title bout. And you got UFC 220, Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou for the UFC heavyweight main event. So let's start with Bellator 192, gentlemen. First of all, which one are you watching? Bellator 192 or UFC 220?
Look, it's very clear that I'm going to see UFC 220.
Okay.
But don't get me wrong. I'm hoping to have a secondary TV and have maybe
your
Bellator
iPad maybe
or iPad or something to check it out. But to tell you the truth, I don't even have to check it out until we get to the co-main event. Other than that, I can ignore the whole card, wait till the co-main and watch it. But at least for UFC, I'm gonna watch the main pay-per-view card.
Yeah, Guillermo, on the main card for Bellator 192. It's Michael Chandler versus Goti Yamaguchi.
And that one doesn't even excite me.
And then the heavyweight Grand Prix kicks off with Quentin Rampage Jackson versus Chael Sonnen. And then, of course, the main event, welterweight championship bout, Douglas Lima versus Rory McDonald. Guillermo, does that line up there get your blood going? You excited?
No, I mean, like, I haven't even seen any promos, anything like that.
Do you not watch Spike TV? Come on.
Dude, it's not even Spike TV anymore, so it might confuse everybody.
Yeah. It's Paramount Network on the sorry about that, the Paramount Network.
And to be honest, I just saw the commercial. I seriously saw it during the Raw commercials that, what's I'm gonna call it? Chael Sonnen just says he's a legend, but I'm the icon, and that's it. That's supposed to sell the fight.
Yeah.
And then right after that is, oh yeah, and by the way, Douglas Lima versus Roy McDonald. Dude, horrible promo. I'm gonna watch UFC 220 without a doubt. I'm maybe DVR the Bellator card and watch it on Sunday. I mean, like, to me, it's, not worth watching. I want to see Rory McDonald just to, see where he goes from here, because he went to Bellator to be champ. Let's see if he really can pull it off. But other than that, there's really nothing for me to watch at Bellator.
Yeah, I think this is probably in between rounds. Like you said, when you're watching UFC 220, come back and see what.
And they usually do a good job of not competing with each other like that. At least Bellator does. And I don't know. Maybe they thought they had more weight to this card, but UFC I think UFC said, "Hey, bro, we got some weight too," and they made it just as heavy. So
yeah.
To be honest with you guys, I don't remember the last Bellator card. So it feels like a long break of Bellator too. So I think that goes against it as well.
Yeah, I think this might be the first one of 2018, I believe, but it's a big one. Rory McDonald, they're at the Forum too in Inglewood, California, LA, former home of the Lakers. So delete. But we'll see. Like you said, hopefully Rory McDonald can make a statement, and then you got Douglas Lima, who is kind of been doing work. He's
on a tear.
Yeah, on a 3-fight win streak.
Paul Daly.
I mean, for me, honestly, I just would want to see the heavyweight match between Quentin Rampage Jackson and Chael Sonnen.
Even
it's
though
a heavyweight, and it's the Grand Prix.
Even though I honestly do believe that Chael Sonnen is going to get the takedown, and I honestly do believe that's going to be the whole fight.
At 30%, too, right?
At 30%.
I think Quentin Rampage gets one punch in. I think because of the age with Chael Sonnen, I think he tires out anyway. And Rampage gets a knockout.
I don't know, because Rampage looks pretty big. We haven't really seen him in this heavyweight fashion, and he looks pretty freaking big. So I don't know how he's going to do as far as his cardio.
Yeah, so I'm looking up the bracket here, and the winner of this fight between Rampage and Chael Sonnen will get the winner of Frank Mir and Fedor. Wow. I mean, as a fan, what fight do you want to see, guys? As
a fan, honestly, I would just want to see Chael Sonnen versus Fedor.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because Fedor is a very chill guy, and Chael Sonnen knows that he's the guy. Everyone expects him to talk smack. I want to see what he will say to Fedor.
So, yeah, I'm sure, Guillermo, if you're Scott Croker and a high-ranking network official at the Paramount Network, you're kind of rooting for Chael Sonnen versus Fedor, right? America versus Russia at the moment. American gangster.
The thing is, I don't understand the match between Chael Sonnen versus Rampage. It should have been more like Chael Sonnen versus Fedor, and then Frank Mir versus Quentin Rampage. I think would have been the better matchup because I think
because get that guaranteed Chael Sonnen versus Fedor just to get people in, right?
Yeah, and then the other thing too is these two guys are light heavyweights, and now you're gonna pin a light heavyweight versus a heavyweight, even though it's a heavyweight tournament. Of course, they're probably in the heavyweight range in terms of weight. But these guys have always competed in light heavyweight and Chael Sonnen even at middleweight. I mean, then you're putting two small guys and then the two big guys, and then you're going to get a small guy versus a big guy. I mean, I would have put, right from the beginning, Frank Mir versus Rampage. I mean, me personally, and then get your dream matchup, Fedor versus Chael Sonnen.
Also, you also have the don't forget the alternate in Roy McDonald as well.
Yeah, hopefully someone does get hurt. I'm really hoping someone gets hurt.
Hey, is it possible that that Roy McDonald can fight twice in one night?
I'm sure Scott Coker can make it work. That's it for round number 4. We got one more round coming up. We're going to preview the big one, UFC 220. Who's going to be the baddest man on the planet? Coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. 5th and final round. The big one, UFC 220. Miocic versus Ngannou, Saturday, January 20th at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, live on pay-per-view. Of course, prelims taking place on Fox Sports 1. Baddest man on the planet. Those promos at the UFC St. Louis.
It's a good heavyweight match in a while.
They got me pumped up.
Did you guys see there was an earthquake not too long ago off Florida? I think it's all the heavyweights arrived. Ngannou arriving from Paris.
From the East Coast.
Yeah, so he's arriving on the East Coast. The East Coast normally doesn't get an earthquake, and then you get a 7.1. They were scared of tsunamis. Thankfully, there wasn't any. So I'm pumped about this. Can I make some bold statements, first of all?
Make a bold one.
So Volkan will defeat DC. Wow. That's statement number 1. And Ngannou will defeat Stipe Miocic, even though I'm cheering for Stipe Miocic. So when you guys see my picks, I probably go Stipe. But I think Ngannou wins in the first round KO. So, and so here's the thing about the bold statement about Volkan. Obviously, I had the advantage of seeing the first embedded episode already. It's out. And guess who Volkan's training with, guys?
Who?
Not other than DC's boy Luke Rockhold.
What?
Wow! What a trade! Yeah. Another snake in the grass.
So,
really?
I mean,
I think he trades in Florida with the kickboxing guy that used to be with the Black Zillions.
Yeah.
And with Luke Rockhold's been training with that camp.
What?
So Luke Rockhold's doing sprints.
You blew my mind.
And he's doing sprints against Volkan. So if anybody can leak out information, it's Luke Rockhold of DC's weaknesses, which, it's pretty apparent, especially watching tape against John Jones, what you can beat DC with. But, I mean, nonetheless, I think Volkan will have the edge. I think Volkan's going to shock the world, to be honest with you. That's the shock of the night.
How do you know it's not going to get the other way around? How do you know it isn't Luke leaking stuff to DC?
Oh, actually, you know what? No, didn't Luke Rockhold say he wants to go up to light heavyweight?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. He's trying to dethrone DC because he don't want to do it himself. Dan, this is what you get here at FiveRoundMMA, ladies and gentlemen. These conspiracy theories. We don't talk about technique, BJJ ground tactics, strike tactics. We talk conspiracy theories all day long. So basically, Guillermo, to your conclusion, we draw that Luke Rockhold is training with Vulcan to give away DC secrets, so Vulcan could defeat DC. Luke Rockhold could then go up to light heavyweight, defeat Vulcan, and become a 2-division champion. Is that what you're saying, Guillermo?
Yeah, and then
Okay, cool.
The other person in the camp is Rashad Evans, that's training with Vulcan.
Wow, that's a pretty.
And remember,
What can Rashad Evans?
I don't know, but yeah, that's also the co-main event on that card as well.
Yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to point out is that Vulcan made a request to Conor McGregor that if he can train with them.
Oh, really? Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got to get on the Instagram feed. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Just tag me, please. Tag me.
Hey guys, you heard it here first, man.
And just to show you how much weight these heavyweights do really carry,
Yeah.
they're pretty much are the card. I mean, the card is not stacked at all.
Yeah.
But the fact that you got the heavyweights in there gives it so much weight and so much credibility that I can care less that I have to go through a bunch of jabronis to get to. And I want to call anyone jabroni.
Well, you just
So here's the other thing is this is why I'm gonna go for Stipe Miocic. So if you watch Embedded, it really reminds you of Rocky versus what's his name, Drago.
And the funny part is Ngannou is Drago.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah, I know. Because
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, because Stipe is training in Ohio. He's dealing with all this snow, so you get that whole Rocky thing.
Cool.
And Ngannou's, I mean, they don't show him training or anything like that, but he's coming from France. He's in New York City. So you guys said he trains in the Las Vegas out of the UFC training center and stuff like that. So it just so familiar to Rocky 4.
Wow.
So that's the only reason I'm gonna go for Stipe. But man, Ngannou is a beast.
The only difference this time though, Guillermo, Drago wins, homie.
Oh. They kept showing that knockout of Alistair Overeem at the UFC St. Louis fight night to hype this up. How Alistair Overeem is okay and still alive is beyond words, man. Because he could have murdered him. That's not even a joke. It's so scary how his neck just snapped back like that. If you're Stipe, man, that guy you got to be fearless to step in the ring with Francis Ngannou at this point right now.
I think Stipe got it.
And I'm gonna throw it out there just so you guys, in case you guys forgot. Also, Overeem rocked Stipe.
Yeah,
he rocked him. So I'm just throwing that out there. Just throwing it out there. You take it the way you want. But I'm just saying.
I've always told you guys the game plan's there. The game plan's there. Cain Velasquez did it to Junior Dos Santos. Now Stipe has to execute the exact same plan to Ngannou, and he can win this.
Just get him close up so they can't wind up and hit you, right? Or they can't punch you when he's on his back. That's it for this edition of 5 Round MMA. I want to thank everybody for listening. Also, Albert, we had the pleasure of covering Fighters Rep 2 Return of the King
Pretty
this
good
past
videos,
Saturday.
guys.
Yeah, I hope you guys all checked out the Fighters Pride mini documentaries we helped produce and chopped. In the words of Robert Rodriguez, we shot, chopped, and scored it all. With the help of Steven Razzo from Razzo Records as well. His music is on there.
Big shout out to Steven Razzo.
Check them out. They're at 5roundmma.com, the 3 videos. And also, we actually took hold of the production for that the event that took place this past Saturday. So those are going to be dropping the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
pretty lively
so look
event.
out for those. Yeah,
lively event. Chris Lieben was camo judge for the Amateur Mixed Martial Arts Organization. Sam Alvey had a couple fighters on the card. Also, was Alex Perez, a former guest, had a fighter on the card as well too. So pretty lively event for Southern California.
And Tom Glicchio, I think that's his name from Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, he was there too. Had a fighter there too. So it's a good thing about it when you come as amateur events, folks. You see, professional fighters backing, young guys at their gym. So that's always kind of cool to see. But yeah, until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 5roundmma. That's FIVE Round MMA. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Podomatic, and YouTube. And visit 5roundmma.com. And also, if you're interested in sponsoring this podcast, we have an awesome set of tiers for you. Just email us at 5roundmma@gmail.com. It's FIVERoundMMA@gmail.com. And we'll shoot you over the sponsorship information and inquiries. Albert, what do you got?
No Lonzo Ball, we don't win. Ball comes back, we go on a winning streak. Lonzo don't play, we lose. What does that tell you? Lonzo Ball's a man.
It's an algorithm, basically.
The thing I got for you guys, who's next? Goldberg.